Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another race here of Link to the Past Randomizer League action. Coming off that hot race just a few minutes ago, we have game 2 this week of Medicinal Herapot versus he came from taking game 1 of the series, so Scopula gonna look to see if they can take game 2. My name is Tiverius. I'm joined in the booth with Homemade Beer. Homemade Beer, how you doing tonight?
Doing good, doing good. How are you doing, Tiverius?
Doing fantastic. Really, really glad I'm already done with my my cash boots race. Looking forward to next week. But before we get there, obviously we have to finish off these casual boots races. So this is actually the last game to be concluded in the Tower of Hera division, which is where these two teams are from. Both of them tied right now at 6 points. So really looking forward to see who can pull this one off and get that all-important 3 points for a full win. Obviously, ties are going to give us fewer points, but both teams looking for that all-important 3 points tonight.
Yeah, and I believe a tie is based on a retime from the admins within, I think, a 2-second finish, if I'm not mistaken.
That definitely sounds right.
Yeah, it's something I kind of read once a while back and then didn't really think about, and then realized like I've seen some pretty close matches this league season so far, so realized that's actually totally possible.
Yep, I was looking through the league website the other day, and I'm pretty sure I saw there has already been a tie. Just looking at
Really?
how many points some teams have. I'll see if I can't find that really quickly. Nope, it was a fever dream.
Just wishful thinking.
Yep, but these runners should be getting off to the races here in just a few moments. Looking forward to it, obviously. Casual Boots going to start with that sword. For anyone who's not familiar with this setting, it's going to be a 7-7, so 7 crystals to enter the tower, 7 crystals to damage Ganon. So entering that tower, damaging Ganon, need all 7 crystals, but you're going to start with Boots, start with the sword, but you have to go through Escape. Well, I know I said start with a fighter sword, but looks like we're going to start with Master Sword because Link's house just hiding a sword already.
Oh, very nice.
So, yes, we do have Nochibato on tracking. He's going to keep Homemade Beer and myself, up to date on everything. And of course, the very talented Yoinker's wife is rocking the restream right now. We'll make sure to get this get the streams up here in just a moment. But Homemade Beer, what's one of the things you look for in the escape sequence to try and maximize that boot efficiency?
Well, there's a few places you can dash that have to be pretty perfect in order to make it worthwhile. So it's pretty tough to do. A lot of times it's actually faster to just walk everywhere, except for the really long lines like you see the runners doing, going right to left here in this pit room. And then killing the guard is, it's nice to have a stronger weapon than fighter sword. It takes 8 slashes with the fighter or master sword, but with the master sword it only takes 2 spins. And then that and, oh, nice red cane there. But another thing that is always fun in the back of Escape is setting up all the key dashes and figuring out, how to do that.
Absolutely. The classic NMG thought of if you get through the escape sequence at around 6 minutes, it's been a good time. But in these casual boots seeds, we've definitely seen as low as like 5 minutes and 10 seconds for those just really amazing times. And of course, sometimes that takes, finding a mirror in Zelda Cell or before, or a few things like that. That's just quality of life. But you can see some wicked fast times here in the Escape.
Oh yeah, definitely, especially with like Master Sword starts and stuff.
Yep, and Ahab showing off there those spins on that ball and chain guard, like you were talking about, homemade beer, where sk00pula going for the more traditional slash strats. But both of them grabbing that heart out of Zelda's cell and dashing out of there.
Yeah, not bad to start with an extra sword. 4 hearts is, enough to get you go pretty deep into the seed until you start finding, little bits here and there when you do start clearing out the game. Find some extra hearts, heart pieces, or whatever. It's always nice to find an armor too at some point, Then 4 hearts and blue mail, it's fine. Everything's fine, right?
Yep, it's getting any more of that, more than that, and you start thinking I'll just face tank everything. That can get you into trouble pretty quickly. But obviously, runners in the league, they know what they're doing.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
So it looks like both of them are going to be heading back into the dark areas here at about just under the 4-minute mark. Another sort of quirk of having to do the opening sequence early, again, for those who aren't aware, you get sort of the lamp demo here in the back of Escape. That's just to make sure that A, the game doesn't have to force the lamp early, and B, you can actually see what you're doing getting through that escape section.
Yeah, definitely. And this is one of those rooms where you can set up a key dash in the Dark Cross. Both runners being a little safe. Don't want to bonk either. You lose time bonking. So looks like sk00pula doing a bit of farming here. I believe the rats are in the variety pack. I'm not sure.
It looked like it because I think we saw some magic, some rupees. We've obviously each have 3 bombs, but I think that was from a chest. But doesn't matter because as Ahab is showing off, you can just, and sk00pula there too, you can just bonk open this back. And there's that ether medallion, pretty handy. We'll see if we need.
Yeah, we have a question from chat about what sprites the runners are using, and honestly, I don't know for either one. Do you have an idea?
I truly wish I could answer that. I genuinely don't know. I'm willing to bet someone in chat will be able to tell us. But one thing you will notice is something that I know Amarith worked very hard on is we're hearing some MSU pack. That is something that was recently acceptable thanks to a lot of hard work by one of the league admins, Amarith. So we're hearing some MSU audio here instead of the vanilla noise.
Ooh, nice sync here between the runners.
Love it. And both of them remembering, hey, I have the boots, so I can check bonk rocks.
Oh, that's Marin from Link's Awakening? Is that right? That sounds like what people are saying in chat? That's kind of cool.
Looks like it. Joss is saying that's Marin, so that's a name I trust. And both of them remembering to check that tree pull, getting rewarded with a couple more bombs, so that'll be nice and cack.
Yeah, good information for later too. If you need bombs, specifically in front of Hype Cave, is probably the best opportunity you would have to do that again. Looks like we see nothing on Lumberjack. Did we see a map check? I missed it earlier. If we did, I was too busy involved in the sprite conversation in chat.
Yep, it looks like our eagle-eyed tracker saw it. So we have green pendant Eastern, a red crystal desert, and a regular crystal Tower of Hera. So shout outs to our tracker Nochi Bato on that.
Thanks, Nochi. Yeah, and green pendant Eastern, always fun, right?
Okay, got a hammer. One of those, not gonna turn your nose up at that. So got a couple of really nice offensive options early. I mean, Master Sword, Hammer, even that cane can come in handy.
Yeah, sk00pula getting a little bit more information too, getting a tier 1 triple now. So now we know tier 1 is arrows, tier 2 is bombs, which are actually ammo refills aren't, they're not a bad way to go. And does... Oh, okay. They both have 7 bombs, so that's good. That's right. They both did that tree puller there.
Yeah, yep, they both did. So now both doing that, just classic route through CAC. Obviously hoping to find something that can at least point them somewhere. Like you were saying, beer, green pendant Eastern isn't fun, but if you get that early, bow lamp, it might say, hey, green pendant might be something. But nice hammer dash there by Ahab. Really, really smart knowing that he can do that. And looks like Scoop's doing the same thing. And we get that bottle out of Blind's Hut too, so going to be able to knock out Sick Kid right away.
Yeah, always nice to find a bottle in CAC before getting down to Sick Kid, of course. And it's a gold B, so can sell that for some extra cash in order to get Bottle Vendor, and maybe potentially build up that cash storage that you might need to get for Zora.
Yep, I mean, you got Zora, you got the Bottle Vendor for 100, you got Pod for another 110, Dig Game and Chess Game for another 110. Holy cats, the Well really giving it out there with half magic and a glove, not bad, and a little bit of that cash you were talking about.
Yeah, now not guaranteed to need to use the B, but I think Ahab would have needed to use it. So, and gets a refund. Nice investment there.
Thank you, Kono Tyran. Looking like the sprite from Ahab is Jasp. So I'm with you, though. I'm not sure what that is. As Ahab pulls out the lamp and sk00pula forgetting to turn off alerts.
Yeah, I think we see a comment from him that they're off now, but there might be one popping up early in the race. So there it is. Congratulations on the follow.
Hey, follows are nice. A whole lot of nothing on Sick Kid, but again, it's nice to get that out of the way so you don't have to come back.
Yeah, for sure.
So Kakariko pretty loaded. I always like to get the opinion of other runners here as Ahab bonks there. Beer, are you of the mindset where the more you get in CAC, the less likely you are to blind check race game, or because it's cash boots, are you gonna scout it no matter what?
I typically scout it no matter what, honestly. It's pretty unlikely that in like a regular open type mode that you'll need to grab whatever's there. So it sometimes depends too on what type of race I'm in. If it's kind of a more serious race, I'll definitely scout it out because for the most part, you expect your opponent to do the same.
Yep, and both of them doing that scout, just seeing the 20 rupees, so we get the save and quit. Looks like sk00pula might be going up the mountain here.
Yeah, it looks like it. We got Ahab going down South Shore, and we're in one of those interesting... Oh, nice flippers, okay. Well, this is actually kind of annoying because now you only have $100, and Zora just... Well, Zora was in Logic with the glove, I suppose.
Yep, in Logic with that glove, and I mean there's that rock up by Ice Rod Cave, but that's only $20 in there. You really don't want to be farming that for forever.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, I mean at this point, like you hope that Zora's not like your moon puller or something super important that you need to get to the Dark World. You just keep moving on, doing as many checks as you can.
Yep, and Ahab, I don't know if this is recency bias or what, but gonna go and check the Desert Ledge into Agina first.
Yeah, I like this play actually. If you're gonna do damn for high hook shot.
Well then, let's hope we can get that access pretty soon because that's unless Mirror is in this Spec Rock Cave, it looks like we're not getting to the east side of Death Mountain anytime soon.
Yeah, and I was sorry, but the hook shop interrupted me here. But oh, it looks like sk00pula is blind checking this here too as well. But yeah, I like this. The play makes it more efficient to go check Agina's cave early if you do it in 2 checks. Ooh, and finding nice $300 here, so we'll be able to get Zora when sk00pula gets down to that area.
Yep. Also, really nice tech there. By Scoop, showing off that if you're holding something above your sprite's head, in a hook speed state, you can ascend those stairs even faster.
Oh yeah, that's super funny.
But Ahab not messing around with the mini Moldorms, just going to go ahead, ether them, and move on with his day. I love it.
Oh, yeah, that's absolutely a great tech as well. Because you don't have to mess, like you said, you don't mess with it. You just do it and you're done, you move on. Oh,
Yep.
there's Dark World.
Okay, there, yep. So, I don't know, with the rupee count, I kind of see sk00pula, with those flippers and with his rupee count going all the way to Zora, and I feel like Ahab is probably going to opt for either, if he's going to, check them, just hobo, or maybe just go right to Dark World, and then loop in Zora later when you have some more money.
Yeah, honestly, it's not a bad option to set up a water walk here and check the Zora area and then end at hobo, which does kind of hard isolate Zora, but as long as Zora doesn't have the mirror, you're pretty safe to route that in later with Catfish if you even ever need to go back there. So it's one of those plays where you can always consider, when you're in a 1v1 race, these are the kind of risks you have to consider. Do you want to isolate certain checks, or do you want to be more thorough and wait until you can full clear an area before you head over there? Things like that.
Yep, and Ahab doing exactly what you were talking about there, arming that water walk. Gonna take it up to hobo, it looks like. So checking the island first, just $20.
Yeah, I think with flippers, you break the water walk state going to Zora area, so I wouldn't be surprised if he saves and quits here, but there's still an option to head over here and do Zora afterwards. So we'll see what he decides to do.
Yep, and it might not be a bad idea to at least grab the waterfall and scout Zora ledge.
Right. Well, they have the flippers.
Might be doing. Yeah, that I know, but I guess what I meant was scout it, and if it's if it's something great, grab it, but you at least get that knowledge before checking Zora. I apologize for the misspeaking.
No, makes sense. I just misunderstood.
This is why I'm in the open league and you're in the invitational.
Both of them are showing off a cool piece of tech that when you set up the water walk and you do have the flippers, any downward directional jump off of a ledge will let you end up in that water walk state. So you can actually jump off the diagonal facing ledge to swim down to the waterfall, which is a downward facing ledge, and get that water walk state.
Yep, and Ahab wisely checking that fairy item as well, dumping his bee and getting blue goo as a reward. So really heads up there while you're in there. At least check that out, because at worst you're net neutral with another bee.
Yeah, and fighting red mail, and what do you think, Tiberius?
I think he thought about it. That save and quit wasn't super immediate on Ahab's side, so definitely probably thought about that. I would pass on it in the 1v1 setting if it's directly in my way. Like on Spec Rock Ledge and I have the mirror to get to Hera, I'd probably grab it. But something like that, it's a little too out of the way for me, and you already have blue mail.
Do you think it's a shout out to his teammate, Average Frustrated Gamer?
Probably. Shout out to Average Frustrated Gamer, who loves the red mail with all his heart.
Oh yeah, exactly.
But that is the teammate of Ahab who did not play this week. Like we were talking about, the last game between these two teams was Professor Pixie versus Magnet Hands. With Magnet Hands taking that game, so I know sk00pula's looking out to try and take one back for his team, and of course Ahab trying to go 2-0 this week. So we're just getting through sort of the routine opening checks, and looks like Ahab's going to give us that Dark World check and probably Hype Cave.
Yeah, so we got Pendant Pod, Green Pendant Ice, and Red Crystal Skull Woods.
Yep. I'm not super upset with that layout. Green Pendant Ice honestly worries me with them already having the flippers. It's going to be interesting to see how early the Fire Rod or Bombo shows up and Mitts, because having Green Pendant Ice and everything show up for it early is a little nerve-wracking. But Ahab won't be punished if he doesn't go back to Zora, because that's just that full heart container. And look, the
there's
mitts.
your mitts.
Cool.
And
Speak of,
the 10 arrows. That's not the fire rod.
if it was, I was just going to walk downstairs.
Yeah, so this route actually going to work out really well for Ahab, because normally, you have two main options. There's a lot of ways to get into the Dark World, but there's kind of two main options to start. If you get Hammer and Glove start, is either to do Hype Cave and then make a choice on where to go next, versus going into the Kakariko portal. And finding the mitts allows him to actually go to Kakariko from the south and get through everything, including pick up a smith, and if he finds a mirror, can turn it in, stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely a really handy place for the mitts if you're going to do that, like you were saying, the start with Hype Cave. But now Scopula getting the same information that Ahab has. Obviously, going to take Village of Outcasts from the north. You got that hammer. Thieves Town is a crystal. Clear it out.
It's a nice powder there on Scopula's side.
Yeah, honestly, like, I know a lot of people say, half magic's a really good safety to have. I honestly think powder is my personal favorite safety, just because of its utility later on in the game. Turtle Rock, if you're going in with low hearts, it's limitless health there, even Ganon's Tower.
Oh, for sure.
Ahab, using a team name from somewhere else in the league, taunting the frog, just walking right by.
Yeah, and Scopula heading into Thieves Town here. This is one of those times that in a race where, both runners are in the Dark World relatively early with a hammer, sword, all the things needed to beat this dungeon, and this dungeon does not get any faster. So doing it as early as you can pretty much makes sense in case there is progression here.
Yeah, absolutely. And it being a crystal, like you were saying, just get it out of the way. If progression's here, cool. If not, you're not wasting any time. Because even go moding this dungeon, you're checking the front floor until you find that big key. And so you're really only saving a few seconds on the backside of the dungeon.
Yeah, it's pretty unlikely to actually save time in this dungeon. But it always does feel good, the 1 in every 100 seeds you get to go mode it and find the big key in the first chest.
Absolutely, and we cling to those moments.
Exactly. So nothing in here so far. I think the only real progression we've seen once entering the Dark World were those mitts, and we do know the hookshot is on Desert Ledge, so Ahab has that information. Scopula has not been into the desert area yet, so he hasn't checked the trash item in Akima's cave either. But with those mitts, we're only a flute and a mirror away from being able to get that and being able to do Swamp Palace.
Why do you hurt me like this? No, I don't know. Something about the layout so far, something's calling to me that we're going to have book access into desert just because the game is going to be rude.
Yeah, that's also the other option, isn't it?
Yep. Also, Nochi, because you asked us to call you out, could you please mark red mail on Scopula's side? Thank you. And instant gratification. Thank you, sir. Again, shout outs to Nochi for tracking. There's definitely going to be times where he's catching things that were not, much like that original map check. So definitely the unsung heroes of these restreams, and it can't happen without them, are the restreamers themselves and the trackers.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're just here to talk crap and meme, right, Tiberius?
Only mild dunking per the rules.
Per the rules. No, it's so fun to watch these races. That's like honestly one of my favorite part about being on comms in general is you get to watch Rando with your friends and chat about it.
100%. And Scopula really heads up going to the big chest first. it's one of those things I know I've talked with my teammates about, like in certain scenarios that I don't know if it's faster. Definitely in a pilot, you know what it is, but getting that small heart, getting the refill, which always feels nice, getting a refill when you find those heart pieces. Meanwhile, Ahab getting his refill in the attic, so not much here in the Thieves Town area, but I know we saw the compass. If we haven't seen the map, there might be something on blind, but I was not paying that close enough attention. I apologize.
Yeah, I wasn't either. Thieves Town's one of those ones where you pretty much don't count unless you're in blind cell opening the chest and realize you probably haven't gotten it, and then you can just do a quick menu check. It was an interesting blind script with that red cane. Worked out really nicely. And that was our first crystal from sk00pula at 23 minutes. So good job there. Let's see what he chooses to do next.
Yep, I have a feeling he's going to go south route over to Hype, grab those mitts, and then, hopefully not feel too bad. Really, all he's going to be missing out on is maybe grabbing the Smith. So
yeah,
that's what I see sk00pula doing, and I see Ahab just sort of continuing the route north.
Yeah, we've definitely seen a few seeds this week in casual boots mode where doing the Smiths without a mirror has been required. So
it feels almost just guaranteed at this point how many times that's happened. It's disgusting.
Yeah, it's fun. Like, it's not necessarily the mirror is on the Smiths, but something maybe leading to them. Oh, sk00pula doing Zora doesn't have any money here to be able to pay for the dig game.
Oh, no.
He can do the arrow game.
Right? Yep, has 24 rupees, so can do that arrow game. And Ahab just a little off script, but still gets blind down handily. So no harm, no foul there. Oh, sk00pula, very interesting. Not using the setup.
Yeah, that's interesting. I've never seen that.
Yep, and ends up net neutral as a result because missed that third squid.
Yeah, it looks like he has his own setup here, which is nice. Oh, I missed that one. That's a bummer.
Yep. Net neutral again. Oh, no. Actually, a little up.
He's making, he's making 4 each time with this, so just has to get. It's mainly the third and fourth one, or well, the fourth and fifth one, obviously, because it doubles every time.
Yeah, it's that doubling growth. So as long as he hits that, looking good. Still needs a few more rupees though for that dig game. Oh no, sk00pula.
Oh no.
Meanwhile, with those mitts, Ahab able to check hammer pegs after grabbing the Smith here. For just a blue boomerang.
So it's not paying off quite yet, but still have yet to see. Ooh, that's a very nice. Okay, gets that money needed. This is nice too. I just hadn't realized too with those mitts can do King's Tomb. Finds a heart. Very nice.
Yep. Has that blue mail. Probably feeling pretty comfortable right now. That's what, 8, I think? 1, 2, 3, 9 hearts on Ahab's side, 8 hearts over on sk00pula's side. But like you were saying, grabs enough money to do the dig game. Gonna be disappointed with that blue rupee as a prize, but still ends up a little net positive.
Yeah, and looking at the way this is going with sk00pula's route here, he'll find the mitts late enough that he'll kind of have a choice of going up to Pyramid and dipping Pod or going to Catfish with the route that he'll do, unless he decides to take those mitts immediately and go somewhere else. So we'll have to see what his choice ends up being here.
Yep, and I know Ahab checked the ferry to get the blue potion.
Oh, nice quake.
Very nice. Might be needed. Do we know? Does Scopula have a potion to potion glitch in pod?
Oh, that's a good question. They found a fairy, and he did not get a potion from the waterfall fairy, if I remember correctly. Oh, he did. Okay,
Okay.
thank
Yep.
you, Nochi.
Thank you, Nochi.
Shows how much I know.
Hey, look, it's the book.
Oh,
So
wow.
here's the weird thing, though, because Ahab has that knowledge of the hookshot. I see him rushing that right now. You
Oh,
can clear
absolutely.
desert because you have the fire source, and it's giving you that hook for all of Death Mountain.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, he literally has nowhere better to go right now, in terms of being able to complete a dungeon. So this makes the most sense for sure.
Yep, and that's where that scout is really going to come in handy because Scopula doesn't know about that. So for him, like we're seeing right now, the best option is to do, pyramid catfish into non-completable pod and just hope for the best.
Yeah, he kind of has a choice here to not orphan catfish would be to head there now versus going into pod, like you said, which is actually the density play. So it's a choice of those two things, really. Like there are other ways to route in catfish, but the way he routed the earlier part of the game, this is pretty much going to be his best chance to do this check, without doing it as a complete absolute one-off.
Yep, and I mean this is really showing off the big difference between those two routes into Dark World that we were seeing, like
Oh yeah,
the north to south route versus the south to north route. Yes, Ahab had that knowledge of the hook shot, but I mean, this is it makes sense for both of them to do what they're doing.
nice mushroom locked by the powder there. So couldn't take powder in the seed if you wanted to. Thanks, game. By the way, I'm just realizing, as you had called out earlier, we are hearing an MSU sound pack from Scopula's side, and this is the Link's Awakening MSU as well, matching his sprite. Is that right?
Yes, it definitely is the Link's Awakening MSU. So if that is indeed Marin, very cool mashup.
Yeah, that's very nice. I like that.
Hey, Vanilla Big Key. Meme answer of is this even randomized? All right, that's the one for the seed.
That's all you get. Yeah, so from that hook shot, Ahab has a lot of stuff open. He now has the entire mountain open to him, including Hera.
Yeah, and even as horrible as it sounds, depending on the medallion, as far as Laser Bridge.
Why? Is Quake Medallion
I mean,
Mirror Bridge? Would that be
yep. Oh no.
In Swamp? Ice Rods in Swamp? Come on.
Or Fire Rods in Swamp to lead us to Ice Rod in the Crystal Roller Room. But we're not here to talk that terribly. So far we've been getting a good amount of progression per time. So definitely feels good for a cash boot seed of okay, every few checks I'm getting something progressive, at least on Ahab's side. But Scopula doing the play of checking the front of Skull. A lot of people deem this as overworld. Heyo. I know a couple people even say that the front of Skull is almost weighted differently because of where it sits. I don't know. Are you a front of Skull checker, Beer, or are you go there when you can?
Oh, that really depends on the seed. If I don't have any dungeons that are obvious to dip into early, and I'm going into Dark World through CAC, then yeah, I'll check front of Skullwoods for sure.
Love it.
So
I'm with you. Trying to read the seed.
Yeah. So I think we found the big key here. So trying to think about this for a second. He didn't check the middle chest, so it's really hard. It's impossible to know the key logic at the moment for Skullwoods. But once he checks this, depending on what it is, and if necessary, the middle chest, we'll know for sure where the second item is. Okay, it's a key.
Yay. Meanwhile, Ahab using spins and hammer strats on Land Molus here. Not much else you can do against this boss with his current loadout. Probably would be liking to have that tempered sword that Scopula has, but
Yeah, right.
gets the worm down anyway.
Yeah, and I think he skipped the big chest, which actually does have an item in Desert, I believe. And so since we did find another small key in the big chest, that's the third small key from Scopula. So, oh, well, there's a second item. So I think the boss and the back room have the map and compass. So Skullwoods is empty. I mean, minus the sword. Sword's great. And Ahab save and quit there. I don't remember seeing 2 items in Desert, but I could be wrong. And where's he headed to now? Oh, we found that silly mushroom in Desert. Nice.
Oh, right. So yeah, that gets us this check right here. Still not enough money for Zora, so this is just the 1 check, but not a bad idea just to rush it. You already have the powder, get it out of the way. It's a nice save and quit.
Yeah, so I actually missed Bumper Ledge, but I'm guessing it wasn't anything because I don't... yeah, did you see that?
I'll be honest, I didn't. And okay, the mushroom, pretty important.
Oh my goodness, that is like the worst spot for the flute. It's like, oh, I got the mushroom. I'll save it until I find the flute. Oh.
Yep, so things really coming up Ahab here. Getting that scout of Desert obviously pushed him back there once he had that book. I don't see Scopula putting it off too long. I don't know. I don't see him rushing Pod over Desert once he gets that book, but we'll see.
Yeah, and remember earlier how I was saying he just needs to find a flute in a mirror? Boy, how wrong I was.
I sadly called book entry into Desert, and I didn't know how right I was going to be too with where that flute was.
Yeah, I mean, so as we're looking at it here, Scopula about to get his Quake off the Smiths, and about to check Magic Bat as well, based on this play. So, you know, the logic is obviously going to point you to Desert here, regardless of knowing about the hook shot on the ledge. They're only about 35 minutes in, and they have a fair bit of progression. They're only really looking for a bow, a couple rods, and a mirror to be in go mode here. So maybe bombos? I don't know. But not a terrible seed. They have pretty good health. You know, pretty good swords, things like that. I say that now, and you know, we'll see where we get an hour from now if the seed decided to say, "Oh, you don't like what I'm doing so far?" Okay.
Yep, and it looks like Scopula is probably going to grab that purple chest, if I'm not mistaken. Really wrapping up that Smith chain.
It's
again,
actually not a bad play with he didn't do the hammer pegs, I believe, and so if he gets this, then he can take that on the way to turning in the book, actually.
Yeah, definitely working out there with the routing. Meanwhile, Ahab making his first trip up the mountain. Gonna see that 300 there, probably gonna turn up his nose, and then carry on around the mountain here.
It looks like he didn't want to, but then he's like, I hear you, Comms. You're right.
Thank you from 10 minutes in the past or in the future. I do apologize, Tutor. I'll give you credit as well for that book call. And Slide a Beast, thank you. Bumper Ledge, Piece of Heart. Also,
thank you.
A couple others calling it out. So we appreciate that, chat. Thank you, as always, for keeping us on task.
Absolutely. All right. Oh, I was about to say, well, there's the fire rod. I was about to say, oh, that was the ice rod. Okay, never mind.
Yep, my view is a little janky, so I'm just going to watch restream here to double check, but I trust our tracker Nochi to say that was ice.
Yeah, the same.
And there, hey, look, and the shovel too. Cool.
Thanks, game.
And just $50 there from Gary the locksmith. But Scupula gonna be happy here. Really nice working that in with the desert check. Scouts it, sees that hook shot, gonna be pretty happy about that.
Yeah, and I missed that, what the purple chest actually was. It's nice to clear that check so that the East Town area is dead for absolutely ever. There's literally no reason to go back to that point ever again. So just being thorough, not a bad choice.
Yep, I'm personally a fan of having those thorough checks.
Yeah, especially if you can find a way to route it in and make it more efficient. So we're about to see Scupula get this map chest of desert for his mushroom, and we know that that's the flute. He'll have to go find a reason to go back there and turn that in. And we just see a piece of heart on ether tablet, so nothing major so far up here. But this is one of those ways where if the mirror is in Tower of Hera, there's only one way to get there, and that is going this way. So knowing that it's a crystal, Ahab comes here first, knows he has to complete the dungeon anyway, and will do so before checking Dark Death Mountain. And yeah, it looks like there was a check on the floating island that some people are speculating is a sword. I actually missed it. It was pretty fast, so without a mirror, can't get it at the moment, but it could be one of those things that if he finds a fire rod next and a bow and won't end up checking the front of Skull Woods because of go mode reasons, might grab it on the way to GT if it is a sword. So we'll find out. Or he'll never go back and we won't find out. Either way.
Always a possibility.
Yeah, Scupula now getting their hook shot as well.
Yep, Ahab taking a nice hydration break. Gonna steal a line from our good comms buddy Myendium and say, make sure you're using this break to be hydrated. So enjoy a nice tasty water or whatever you have next to you, and stay hydrated.
Is that what you have next to you? Water?
Yep.
Very nice. Yeah, same. Totally. That's what I have too.
Yep. No, I definitely try to stay hydrated, especially on comms. So having fun here in the booth with you, though. Homemade beer.
Absolutely. Every time, dude. It's great coming with you.
Like you were saying, it's just watching Rando hanging out with buddies, and I mean, just watching these two right now, it's fun. I mean, we have a good race on our hands, so excited to see the next sort of half, as it were, because I don't foresee a casual boot seed going too much longer than that hour 20, hour and a half. But sometimes the rando seeds like to be mean.
Yeah, it can happen. And like you said here, Scupula able to fight Moldorms here with a sword, which a tempered sword, which is much nicer.
Yep, definitely taking down those worms a little bit faster than Ahab was able to, getting his map reward as Ahab continues to climb Hera here before clearing out the rest of the mountain area.
Yeah, and so far it looks like there was no mirror in Hera, so that's fine. Just finish up and be done with the dungeon. I think we saw 2 items, one in the big chest, with that big key in the basement, so we could see if Scupula, it wasn't anything important for progression, but we could see if Scupula decides, if he can Herapot and decides to do so, and ends up missing that chest, won't be punished for it, and might save a bit of time on his opponent, so we'll have to see.
Yep, kind of the trade-off there of Scupula doing Zora. We'll see once he gets up the mountain into the Tower of Hera. So we'll take a look there. But Ahab grabbing another crystal off of another dead worm type thing. So currently leading the crystal count 3-2. But here comes Scupula up the mountain, hot on his tail.
Yeah, this is an out of logic spike cave check. He found a blue goo. I think he found a fairy too, so he'll be able to easily do this. But this might be kind of a spicy play. We'll have to see what happens if there's anything in here.
Yep, choosing to use that blue, I want to say with perfect movement, it takes 14 hearts to do Spike Cave unassisted, but not getting paid out today.
Yeah, it's something like somewhere 12 to 14-ish. I don't know exactly, but yeah, it depends on if you have hook shot, boots, all those things, and how clean your movement is. And either way, finds nothing of value, but we'll be following Ahab up the mountain here.
Yeah, definitely one of those sort of comfort checks, though, out of the way. Like, obviously, Ahab has the Ice Rod and Scupula about to get the Ice Rod, so we're not going to be worrying about that this seed. But I mean, it could be a mirror hunt, and that's almost just as bad as an Ice Rod hunt some days. So getting those really disgusting checks out of the way is super nice to do.
Yeah, it's very clear the way he's routing the seed. He's being extremely thorough, so which is nice that when you do that, if you are skipping stuff along the way, if you end up in a go mode one item from go mode situation and realize you have like half the game left, it's like, oh crap, like where do I go first? Yeah, now picking up his Ice Rod, we'll probably be happy to see that.
Yep. Heads up play here. After using that blue goo, gonna go ahead and buy that red goo out of the shop before going into Paradox. I like that heads upness there from Scupula. Just saying, hey, I might be going into pod without a bow. Having that bottle full of goo is gonna help.
Yeah, I think we saw what did we see for TR entry? I saw Ahab check that. Oh my goodness.
Cool, our fire rod too. I'll check on Restream here really quickly. Bombos. So the medallion we don't have.
Okay. Well, we have a fire rod now. Where do you think that Bombos is going to be?
Saha, green pendant.
Oh boy, no. Well, it could be. I'm gonna say it starts with a P and rhymes with Iramid Fairy, but that's just hoping for the memes at this point. Yeah, and Ahab not going to get burned by Scupula checking this too. He is also doing Spike Cave out of logic. So both runners will find whatever garbage was in here and not be behind.
One green rupee.
Oh, yeah. Great garbage.
I mean, as a kid, I probably picked up a bunch of green rupees just lying around, quarters, pennies, whatever.
Oh, yeah. Did you only pick them when they were heads up?
Oh, no, I didn't believe in any of that.
Oh, very nice first try spin speed Herapot, or hook speed Herapot from Scupula there.
Absolutely well done there on Scupula's side.
Yeah, if he chooses not to go back in for the big key, could save a bit of time on his opponent here. I think that's almost a solid minute if you go for that big key in the basement.
Yeah, especially without mirror, and he already has red mail and 11 hearts, so it's like a death warp would take forever, and just walking back out feels bad. So we'll definitely see what Scoop's mindset is here. But yeah, definitely not a super quick check. Yeah, it looks like we have a chat saying they also want to see something on Cold Stare, so we will see. It is,
wow.
I mean, it is in logic right now.
Yeah, I missed the medallion again. Bit of quick movement here on Ahab's side. Very good, very quick checks in. Scupula, speaking of quick, there's Bombos. Speaking of quick things, just completely destroying Moldorm here. So we are now in bow from no mode. Oh, do we need a mirror? Yep, Swamp's Crystal. Okay, we
need a mirror. So doesn't matter what Meyer is now. We have every medallion. And it was Ether. So, I mean, Ahab clearly on the Crystal Rush sort of route right now. And Scupula is going back in. continuing that thoroughness that we've already seen from him.
Yeah, leave no checks left behind, right?
Yep, it's better to be thorough and wrong than not thorough. Or hold on, yeah, better to be thorough.
Can't fool me again. Yeah. I'm getting a little beaten up in Mire too, but makes it out okay and knows about the nice bunny beam in the pot there, so does a good job with that game knowledge.
Yep, and Scopula, I mean, also game knowledge, knowing that those tilers are going to do a heart of damage no matter what mail he's on. So taking all the damage from those tiles, and then it's a quick death warp. So way to be heads up there too.
Yeah, very nice job with that, for sure.
Scopula being very careful to make sure that heart went all the way to the ground before picking it up too, just to avoid that Ancilla value.
Yeah, one of those things that I think is only affects Herapot if you are doing a bomb, using the bombs. But either way, just being safe.
Yep, safe, and like we were saying, thorough. That's kind of been Scopula's MO this seed, and I don't blame.
Yeah, absolutely.
Meanwhile, a whole lot of nothing in Mire so far, so we're going over to the Firelock side on Ahab's side.
Oh, I'd love seeing a small key there in a race. Seeing that small key in the compass chest guarantees the big key in its vanilla location. So when you're in a race and you see that, then you know with absolute certainty you're not losing time in Mire. Was that a piece of heart on the... Yes. Okay, so it was a piece of heart on the floating island today.
Yep, so far that mirror is only going to be used to get us into Swamp, so could be on Laser Bridge, could be on Cold Stare, who knows?
Yeah, no mirror. Not something you usually see this late in a seed, honestly. So where do you think Scopula's next choice to go after this? He found that shovel, but doesn't really have much he can do after Dark Death Mountain here, and we know there's not honestly that much up here. So
yeah, honestly, for me, it'd be one of those things where, clear your head. I mean, he's gonna get that fire rod here, so clear your head.
Oh,
just go
that's right.
kill
Fire rod
Mothula,
is up here.
Go kill Mothula, and then plan your attack from there, sort of thing. The big thing is still missing that flute.
Yeah, that's a tough one to find again without the mirror or reason to ever go there. He has to literally do it as a one-off check, like hard isolated. I guess technically Ahab did that similarly.
Yep, and Ahab also, I mean, kudos to him for knowing it, especially in boots. But I mean, you have the flippers. If you bonk off that statue right next to that whirlpool, it's a free fake flipper setup. But having the flippers, seeing that mushroom, knowing, hey, let's just get this out of the way. I already have powder. That might pay huge dividends for him here, depending on where Scopula goes next. But if I were a betting man, which I am, I'd say Scoops goes to Skullwoods next.
Yeah, Skull is not a bad play because it's another crystal you do have to complete, and I believe it's our second red crystal, so we'll give him the option of Pyramid Fairy after if that's something on his mind.
Ooh, Ahab just missing out there. Gonna have to reset the room.
Oops.
Accidentally dropping a bomb instead of hookshotting.
Quick swap strikes again.
Yep, I've totally never done that before. CS Tutor pointing out in chat as well. I mean, Ice Palace, a valid option. You have the Canis of Mario, so you can do Icebreaker, make it nice and quick. Get those 3 checks out of the way, 4 with the green pendant. So not a bad choice.
Yeah, that's true. Definitely. Man, it's just this game is so funky without the flute. Like getting anywhere takes forever. Like you want to do as much as you can in between save and quits when you don't have that flute.
Yep, and even in those save and quits, to your point, Beer, making sure you're continuing to get that, the checks per minute. Make sure you're optimizing your movement doubly so without that fluke.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
My Andy, I'm calling it out in chat. I'd rather accidentally bomb than accidentally mirror. You are too right, sir.
For sure. Catching a fairy here. Does he check ped? Are we getting a ped check?
I think we are. So chat, get your hype levels up. Let's see. This could be huge.
Yeah, I think at this point it could only be the mirror, but it is just cash. Right along.
Yeah, a ped mirror is one of the ultimate kicks in the pants. Definitely had that before, and you just go, you know what? I think I'll roll another seed.
Exactly. And Ahab doing some sword spin strats here, doing a decent job getting most of them, not taking any damage from the eyeballs. That's the main important thing here. Is the slime deals exactly 1 heart of damage, and the eyeballs with blue mail do 2. I want to say.
Yeah,
maybe 3. No, I think 3.
You always forget how much of a truck Vidi hits like. But using that blue goo and sk00pula gonna go finish off the moth like we were talking about. So gonna be an interesting phase 2 here. Yeah, no bow. All you got is hammer, or the master sword spins that Ahab is going for here. So
yeah, I think it's 16 spins. That sounds about right. Yeah, 16 spins. I think it's 16 spins.
Way too many.
Yeah, that's way too many.
For all you out there who like to make plandos, no, Fighter Sword Vitreous does not make your plando fun. It makes me want to quit.
That's true. But then again, whoever wants plandos to be fun, right?
That's true. That's why you play a plando. But Ahab persevering there, grabbing the crystal there, bringing him up to 4. But
yeah, finding both items as well. So that's true. Yeah, they'll both be at 4 after this. Different crystals, but 4 crystals apiece.
Yep, sk00pula, knowing he already has that key, already found the items, doesn't need to worry about killing that Gibdo to grab a key. Just go kill the moth and move on.
That was a really cool kill of the Blowmaster there. I don't know if it was intentional, but it looked cool. I liked it.
We'll call it intentional.
Yeah. Very well done.
Vortex calling out in chat. Yeah, hammer is faster on Vidi unless you miss and screw up, and then all of a sudden it becomes a panic.
That's true. All right, there you go. Like you said, 4 crystals. Gosh, what do they have? Pod dip? Eastern dip?
Oh, Ahab grabbing that 300. I think Zora's on his mind.
Zora's on the table, huh? Does that mean he grabs the red mail? He might.
I think if you're going all the way back to check Zora, yeah, you grab it. But
what's what these runners seem to not want to do. I'm actually a little confused. There's Ice Palace and Turtle Rock here.
Pod. Yeah, Turtle Rock.
Well, there's Turtle Rock. There's a fully clearable dungeon available, right?
Fully clearable crystal.
Oh, he's gonna do Skullwoods. This makes actually a lot of sense. I'm just trying to figure out that money grab.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's one of those things where just grab it now in case we need to go to Zora. I don't know. Something to ask him about in the interview for sure.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Scoop's turning in the shovel. Hopefully that means, the fetch quests are on his mind and he goes and turns in that mushroom.
Yeah, I think this is what we were sort of talking about, that the direction he's going makes Ice Palace seem like the next play. Or I guess not. I actually don't know where this is going.
Yeah, Scoops, buddy, what you doing?
Oh, he never did a Gina.
Oh, one of those things where you finish a dungeon and go, "Welp, I'm out of here," and you save and quit, and then realize, "Oh crap, I forgot the one check that's right next to it." Totally not guilty of that.
Yeah, whoops. That's when you just say the check doesn't exist, right?
Yep, up until the check is your mitts.
Hey, mitts go mode is never a bad thing, unless it's not go mode. Then it's a bad thing.
I'll send you my seed from Wednesday. But yeah, Ahab popping back into Skullwoods like we were talking about. Scupula turning in that mushroom. All right, so probably gonna feel not terrible about it, but definitely oh, I could have had this a while ago. So the question still remains: is it going to be the bowless pod dip first, or are we going to go into ice, or like you were saying, beer, a fully clearable crystal turtle rock?
Oh boy, I don't know. What do you pick?
I like the crystal rush, even though it's another mountain climb. It's something you have to do, and you have everything to do it. Just get it done, and then again, it's one of those clear your head moments of I'm going through the paces of something I know I need to do. Let's figure out where we're going next.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's interesting though too, because it can kind of depend on how you feel about the race and what situation you're in. That, um, like considering a play like Ice Palace here to get 4 items, actually, I don't think is an absolutely terrible idea. But like you said, you do have a fully clearable crystal. Like if you find a mirror or a bow or both in Ice Palace, like you save minutes. You save minutes on the seed overall.
Yep, and something I've learned from you, Beer, is actually think about the sphere in which you got those items. So it's like
Yeah,
how long we've had those flippers, and we still don't have a mirror. Yeah, we need the flippers for Swamp, but are they pushing us somewhere else with how early we got them?
that's true. Yeah, did the flippers even lead to anything yet? I don't think they did, right?
I don't think there was anything of value in Waterfall Fairy, so no. Red
Interesting.
Mail?
Red mail. That's true. That's true. They led to red mail.
But
Well, at
yeah,
least for one of our runners.
true. Chat joining us in this existential discussion, though, of, yeah, we have that Crystal TR doable. Scupula, grabbing his bombos and thinking, oh, cool, now I can do Myra right here. Let's do it. Ahab might be a little salty with finding this sword coming up, but definitely not going to be disappointed to see it.
Yeah, gonna be sad but happy at the same time. Oh, this is a great track for this dungeon.
Yeah, it is. But Ahab finally checking out this nice piece of heart there. Um, I he might run all the way to Pod from here. Nope, going back in the village. Okay.
Yeah, what? Oh, purple chest is left.
Yep, grabbing that purple chest. So not bad. Yeah, I agree. Vortex, Ice Palace before TR is definitely risky. Again, considering what you have to do in the Crystal TR versus, yeah, Green Pendant Ice is nice, but let's do what we know has to get done first.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those situations that the runners have a choice. It's not like an obvious path. It's something you can choose, and if you're right, you can gain some time, and if you're wrong, you lose some time. So this is the part of the seeds that what makes rando fun and interesting is when you're in races like these where you have to make these choices.
Yep, and honestly, a seed like this where it's not super linear, I like watching, and I even like running because,
Oh,
like you're
absolutely.
saying, that's where the decisions make the race, and not just execution of haha, I followed the literal path faster than you could. But Ahab turning in that purple chest and going up the mountain. So either feeling the vibes of, chat and comms, or just, along those same lines of, I have a crystal, let's go.
Yeah, and then, we know that knowing the big key was where it was in Meyer, Scopula not losing any time. Again, like I said, I love seeing the big key there in a race. No, it means that I don't have to gamble.
No, 100%. I'm with you on that. Yeah, Vortex. I know we kind of joked about it earlier, but it feels like, Smith Chain or Purple Chest has had Mirror almost a horrible percentage of time in the league so far. Or like Beer was saying earlier, at least leading to the Mirror. So just over the hour mark here, Scopula going through Meyer, Ahab about to go into Turtle Rock. Going to be a solid time just to remind everyone in chat, if you're liking what you're seeing here, make sure you drop these runners a follow. Obviously spending their time putting on some entertainment, always great to see. And of course, these runs don't happen without you, the chat. So big thanks to you all for showing up. And big thanks to the runners for, being willing to be put on Restream today.
Yeah, absolutely. These runners putting on a great show for us today. I'm really enjoying this race.
No, I agree with you, Beer. There's been enough divergence to, make it interesting and really give you a lot of options of where do the runners go next. So it's been really cool to see that and see, how the runners react. I'd say the big sort of stories of the seed so far probably both go to Ahab, with the Scout of Desert Ledge leading to that earlier playback to the hook shot, and then just that instant turn in of the mushroom. Both of those definitely turned out in his favor. So obviously we'll see if this Turtle Rock play also does. Although if I were Scopula, I wouldn't feel behind at all.
Oh, for sure.
Like Scopula's played this very well. Getting that tempered as early as he did always feels good, and it's like just his efficiency of checks has felt really solid. So I'd say both runners have a reason to feel comfortable right now.
Yeah, and having tempered earlier too does save a lot of time. So he has it on this fight for Vidi. And he has a fairy, I believe. Still, he used his blue goo. Oh no, he does not. Okay, wow, that was close. Oh goodness, I forgot where he used his fairy.
I think they both used their fairy in Spike Cave.
No, you know what happened? He used a blue goo there, and he used his fairy when he went to go turn in that mushroom, or he dumped his fairy to go.
Oh right.
We got a refill. Oh no, don't fire on. Oh, okay.
Oh, Scopula, please.
Wow.
Okay.
Well done. Takes him out with relative ease.
Not good for my heart, but there we go. Taken down Vitreous, grabbing the crystal, evening the score back up at 5 crystals. But Ahab in Turtle Rock here, obviously going to be grabbing a crystal soon, using that powder, great effect, filling up the hearts. Yeah, Scopula definitely just going into hard mode Vidi right there.
Yeah, and making the same choice heading straight up the mountain here. So as far as what these runners have done, I think they've done all the exact same checks up to this point. So he is about basically at half of TR behind. So not that far. This is, I think it's still reasonable to say this is within GT Big Key Hunt territory, depending on if they go to the same places after this. But there's still a decent number of options after TR here.
Oh, 100%. I'd say, like we were just talking about, that Temperate Sword really helped Scopula, even without that flute and hookshot as early as Ahab had them. So really nice to have that. He does have that ped knowledge, but all you're missing is a bow and a mirror. And there's 2 bows out there. I think you're safe with ped knowledge at this point.
Yeah, it is actually good to know from Scopula's side, having checked ped, knowing that there's nothing of value there.
Yep, so Ahab going into the second entrance of TR just as Scopula about to go into the first. Oh, no, Tudor, you're 100% right. There's so many things that can close the gap right now. It's still an amazing race.
Yeah, so far TR being very front-loaded with keys and garbage, like other dungeons in this game that shall not be named. But usually, in this dungeon, because you need keys to get through it, most of the goods tend to be on Laser Bridge or on the boss anyway. So we'll see what we come up with here in a second.
Yeah, I mean, to me, TR is almost like Pod Junior, where you have to have keys up front unless it's a really disgusting layout, and all the goods are in the back, like you were saying. But speaking of goods, oh no, Scopula had taken a crystal roller to the face as Ahab heading back into the goods area of Laser Bridge, getting some walking laser skips. Nope, getting a laser to the face.
And there's our bow.
Oh, weird progression on Laser Bridge.
Oh, safety door, buddy.
Take the door. Take the door.
Does he have a fairy?
He
must have a fairy, right? He has the bug net.
Okay. Yep. Okay.
It's like no. You can still get 1.0 and hard crash the game even with a fairy. So it's still really dangerous, but.
Ahab, swallow your pride, man. Take the door.
Yeah.
There he goes. Okay.
Yeah, not worth it here for sure.
Yep. I don't know if Hexadus is still in chat, but totally didn't happen in our practice run earlier, right, Hex?
Oh, that never happens, yeah.
It was spoiler too. He's like, yeah, grab the 4th chest on Laser Bridge. I got 1.0'd. I go, well, I'm running through Turtle Rock again.
Oh, wait, you got 1.0, like hard crash? The whole game shut down?
No, not a hard crash, but like I missed my laser skip, got hit into the pit, and then got hit again.
Yeah. That's always fun, though.
Yeah, I mean, that bow, obviously we need it for Ganon's Tower, but like CS Tudor pointing out in chat, now all of a sudden Pod Eastern become pretty lucrative.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of what you said earlier. The bow is pretty buried. It's nice to find the bow before the mirror, especially when you're doing TR, because you don't want the only bow to be in Mimic Cave. But yeah, Pod Eastern's an option here. Without the mirror, you can't combo them, but you're looking for the mirror anyway. So do you do Eastern first? Do you do Pod first? I guess Pod has more items, but it's also slower. There's just, they literally have the option of dipping any one of the 3 pendant dungeons they haven't touched yet this entire season. So a lot of potential for divergence here in the next choices that we see these runners make. The funny thing is, though, is the bow's not required for anything but mimics, technically. So, like, you didn't even need to find that bow unless it's blocking the mirror.
Yep, I mean, which could be valid. To answer your question, though, if I don't have mirror, I would probably say, go to Eastern first, just because then you can run right to the portal and go into Pod. Whereas if you do Pod first, you have to save, quit, and run back. I would say Eastern first.
Yeah, but the thing that I wonder, though, too, is that the bow specifically doesn't block anything, and so that, not you, but as a runner, you would know that
the
chasing
Royal U.
The Royal U, exactly, the Royalu, would know that chasing density behind a bow, is not like you could have found the mirror earlier is the point I'm getting at, and then you wouldn't have needed to do TR before coming back down and look for the mirror potentially.
Yeah, but okay, we have Ahab doing that. The third option of gonna grab that big bomb.
I was looking at this. I'm like, wait, how does he get there without the mirror? Oh, wait, he can just walk there. Duh.
Yeah, Vortex, really good density play here. Also, I don't think Ahab has done Catfish or Pyramid Ledge yet, so for him, this is 3, maybe even 4 checks into pod.
Yeah, we're still on pretty good pace for the seed. It's only an hour and 13 minutes in, so. And finding some more of that cash. Checking out the waterfall refill here is a red goo. Nice, nice fairies today. Having a few missed fire rod shots in the phase 1 from Scopula, but doing a really good job with the double spin on phase 2. Take down Trinex. And I believe that ties our runners up with crystals.
Yep, we're tied up again, so really just looking for that mirror. So yeah, it's the which pendant do you want to dip, and that might be our decider here if they decide to go to different pendants. Oh no, Ahab spin speeding a little too aggressively and jumping off the north there.
Oops.
Yep, I think we have pretty clear inclination that Ahab is going to go into pod here. Scopula might be following suit with that big bomb. But again, already having cleared Catfish, going to be pretty close in that pod entry if that's where they're both going.
Yeah, it looks like he did the pyramid checks, did the catfish, and is going to head back down to pod. Doesn't want to save and quit. Oh no, Scopula out of money again. Crap, there's $300 in the pyramid fairy. Oh, right. Never mind. Let's see what he decides to do. Okay, saving and quitting
that hurts. Yep, at that point, you just got to cut your losses. I can see him going to ice at this point, just saying, nope, it's not pod, let's go.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because he can't even get into pod either, so it's either Eastern or ice for him at this rate.
Man, that really stinks with the money. It's 2 times in the seed. And going Eastern. All right. A scoop never. Okay.
We never did.
Never did Saw.
That's right, because Ahab did it before going into the Dark World for the first time. Just kind of one of those get it out, Sphere 1, get it out of the way checks.
Yep, and Scopula grabbing enough cash out of there to do Pyramid Fairy if you wanted to, and then like you were saying, Beard could grab that 300 and be set, but gonna go ahead and just say nope. I'm continuing on with the chain. Let's do Eastern. So yeah, it's this is fun. I'm not gonna lie, this is great.
Yeah, very interesting here. We're getting all these runners heading into the bow lock stuff. Finding that bow and laser bridge, I think both of them want to follow it, but have different availability to, honestly. Nice side hop from Scopula there, jumping down.
Yeah, it's always cool to see like those little time saves like that. Like as runners, we're all familiar with the bigger time saves like a hammer jump or things like that. But those little time saves of the side hopping off a ledge is really cool to see and really brings a run together.
Yeah, they look so smooth when you see a runner who can just kind of do them real quickly, you know.
Yep. Meanwhile, Ahab coming up to the actual bow locked sections here. We'll see if it
Yeah.
pays out.
Let's see if that
And
bow was meant to be before the mirror or not.
Meanwhile, Scupula only 4 hearts shy of full. Gotta love it. And of course, Ahab finding out why Pod is so great with all the keys in the front. Logically required to have 4. So sometimes that can help you with the route, knowing, all right, there's 1 check left. I found 3 keys. I know it's a key. So that can sometimes bail you out. But, grabbing his keys on the bow locked side. So we'll see what comes up here in Pod.
Yeah, so far nothing from Scupula or Ahab here, and all we're looking for is the mirror. So first one to find it, just has to go and beat Swamp Palace and take on GT. Again, this is still really close. I feel like if there's some money bailout for Scupula to go do Pod next, and if Ahab goes to do Eastern next, then we got ourselves a race.
Absolutely, and as much as I don't want to see it on a green pendant turn.
Oh, there's Cape. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. You know I can't be mad at you, Beer.
No, I just didn't mean to interrupt. Oh, wow.
Oh,
hello.
There it is in the Hellway. So at 119.30, 29 right in there, Ahab hits go mode. So just have to quick clear of swamp and run back up the mountain. I mean, Scupula's still pretty close as long as he goes right to that Dark World portal and into Pod.
Yeah, very close here still, like you said, but has to get to the back of Pod, which is that's annoying. But
Yep.
We'll see what he tries to do over here.
Can someone in chat confirm I missed what was in the shooter room? Was Pod bow locked? So was that a logical Turtle Rock dip for the bow?
I can actually just say that the 2 small keys on the bow lock side of Pod guarantee that the mirror was bow locked there logically.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
As far as we know, that is the only bow. There could have been another bow, but it's very likely that mirror was bow locked in Pod.
Okay, cool. And Nochi's saying there was a small key in shooter. But again, like you were saying, Beer, with the 2 keys on the right side that only guaranteed another small key up front, Pod key logic is fun.
Yeah, with where the mirror was, it was in the harmless Hellway room, which requires either 6 small keys and a bow, or 5 small keys and no bow. And either way, there were 2 small keys. So,
thank you, Beer. The more you know.
Or
And knowledge is power. So now that he has the money, though, Scupula probably going to do the big bomb into Pod here, and will eventually get paid out with that mirror. But it's just every single check right now that we know where that mirror is just another check that he's slowly behind Ahab.
Yeah, this is a kind of a weird one to try and find that mirror. It's wasn't in a spot I expected, to be honest.
No, I'm the same. I was with chat. I was fully expecting to be somewhere in ice, but we got to skip ice today.
Good old pick a pendant seeds, right?
Yeah. And I mean, who would have thought that the pendant with the most density had the item?
Yeah, for sure. And what really feels bad is Scupula not having the cash. He would have been in pod before Eastern.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. That's wild to see, and Incoherent even calling it out in chat. Like, this race kind of went down to that rupee management, because we saw Scupula spend at least 60 seconds in the arrow game earlier, and then, you know, not having enough money for the big bomb, having to go to Eastern first, getting bailed out with the big 300. But yeah, that was important.
Yeah, and I'm trying to figure out, is it because Ahab never did Zora? Is that? I think that's the only reason he had so much cash.
I think you're right. He never did Zora, so that $500 swing. Yeah, I think that accounts for the $300 between them right now. You know, given the other checks they've done, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, because it's not like they did all the exact same checks basically. Oh, Scupula bought a potion earlier too. I don't think Ahab did that. So that might be another part
and
of
it was blue, so that's another 160.
Yeah, that might be another piece of the equation of why he was so broke later on in the seed. That's interesting.
Yep. Ahab not going for the poke strats, but that's fine. Still takes Argus down in 2 cycles. Not bad.
Yeah, it's about what you want. Just, you know, hook slash real quick.
Oh right, Nochi, our tracker, calling out as well. In Paradox.
Oh,
Scupula bought that red potion, which up there I think is 120.
It's 150 up there, I think. Yeah.
Okay,
so even more. It's even worse.
No, it's expensive. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Ahab grabbing that 7th crystal, gonna head up to GT. So not gonna run the bot, but homemade beer. Why don't you go ahead? If I were to tell you that there were 22 possible locations for a big key in Ganon's Tower, where would you say that big key is?
I would say it's in the first place we look.
Man after my own heart. Let's go, Hope Room. I'll tell you what, I'll give you 1, I'll go with 2.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, and if other people in chat want to get in on this hot gambling action, go ahead and get your guesses in chat of pick a number between 1 and 22 of where you think the Ganon's Tower big key will be today.
Yep, not gambling, because then our friends over in the Netherlands can't participate. But just a fun number guessing game.
Yes, guessing exactly. Guessing with no prizes or consequences.
Man, I wish every time I did actual gambling, it was just guessing with no prize or consequence.
But then would you still do it?
You got me there. But at the hour 25 mark, for those of us just joining, again, pretty much story of the seed was Ahab, you know, early scout of the desert ledge, really pushed him over to desert to get that hook shot early, and then turning in that mushroom super early after getting it to get that flute. Definitely gave the edge there, but that's not to say Scupula hasn't been routing well, because Scupula has been routing amazingly, and we were within, I'd say, seconds if it weren't for that rupee mismanagement. And I won't even call it mismanagement. I'll say, you know, unfortunate rupee count on Scupula's side. We would be seconds apart.
Yeah, definitely. They were basically going to be in pod within about a minute of each other. It was very close, very tight, minus that small thing.
Hope Room. Oh, sorry, homemade beer. That's a compass and a small key. All right, we both lost. But everyone else in chat, other than Hexodus, still has a chance, I think. Hexodus guessing a number that's not between 1 and 22.
Not in this number system.
Riley, nothing anymore, as Scupula just found the mirror that was in the back of pod. So both runners now in go mode. However, sk00pula needs to clear out Swamp Palace. So I mean, it is definitely in Ahab's hands right now. It's going to come down to GT routing and GT execution.
And looks like the answer was 7 today. All right, who got 7? We have a winner with Milla84. Congratulations, Milla.
Never heard of him.
Yeah, whoever you may be.
Congrats, Milla, you random internet stranger. You win the admiration of everyone in chat for properly guessing that it was in 7. Bottom right of Stalfos' room. Well done, sir. The guy goes on a vacation, comes back, wins GT guessing game.
Yeah, how do you do that? Buy a lottery ticket next. wait, no, don't do that. No gambling. We already said that.
Correct. Encourage other people to purchase a lottery ticket.
Exactly.
But Ahab gonna start the gauntlet here, so-called, because in vanilla, these are typically the hardest rooms in the game consecutively to execute. Obviously, as speedrunners, there's certain tech to use. So Ahab hopefully gonna fly through these as sk00pula flies through Swamp.
Yeah, basically about a swamp and a mountain climb behind. That big key, no matter which route you take, will be early for either runner. I think the worst case scenario would be getting a key in Hope Room and going right to the Compass Room before heading over to Stalfos Room. So we'll have to see what sk00pula's choice of routing is here.
Or even the galaxy brain play of, I'm going to take the key off the torch and then go right without going to Stalfos' room. I hope no one would ever do that.
Like ever. Yeah, sk00pula is having very good movement here through Swamp. Very, very nicely done.
Yep. Meanwhile, Ahab absolutely saying, hey, I have half magic. I don't want to deal with these. I have ether. Let's go.
Yeah, just burn it all down. It's fine. Cold things can burn too, right? So, as we come to the end of this, we see Ahab finishing up the gauntlet, has to just kill Landmo one more time. sk00pula about to head into his Argus fight. Where do you think the silvers are going to be?
Ooh, ice. Probably ice.
Oh man, that'd be so dumb. I could see it though.
I mean, either ice or further in GT. Obviously, GT is the mathematical guess, just because our key was on number 7, and there's no reason for Ahab to check any other chests. But ice for the memes.
Ice for the memes. That'd be funny. Yeah, sk00pula doing the double spin here for Argus for phase 2, taking him down, having his 7th crystal. Just has to climb Death Mountain and go up into GT, find his big key, and climb the tower.
Yep, and honestly, at this point, with where everything was for these boys, or for these gentlemen, these runners, whatever you want to say, at that hour 30 mark, I don't know about you, Beer, but that's where I start thinking, oh man, my opponent is going to dot done at any second. I need to hustle.
Yep, pretty much.
So Ahab, though, going through some of the most satisfying rooms in the gauntlet with that Canis Samaria, always feels bad when you don't have Canis Samaria. And then you go, how do I kill these whiz robes? It was always weird because, like, as a kid, you go, all right, whiz robe room, I'll kill them with my sword slowly. And then once you learn the cane strat, you just go, I know no other way.
Yeah, right. It just feels so good with a cane.
Yeah. Oh,
imagine not getting a red cane on your casual boot seed. That never happens.
Nope, never. I haven't deleted that VOD either. Oh, man after my own heart. Ahab, checking validation chest. Thank you, sir. Shout outs to validation chest boots. So we didn't see AGA 1, but we at least get to see AGA 2 here. So here we go for Ahab. Gonna fight the trigonometry wizard. Right as Scopula enters the tower. So yeah, that full GT clear ahead. Ooh, Ahab taking that energy ball to the face. Ouch.
Yeah, I don't think you know, when we do Twitch predictions on number of blue balls in AGA 1, I don't think Twitch lets you call them blue balls. I think they have to call them energy balls.
I think you're right.
Which is what they are. They're energy balls that are blue. That happen to be blue, rather. And getting these kind of awkward patterns, just kind of annoying ones to deal with here.
Mm-hmm. And like, even if the patterns were better, just the awkward energy ball shots from the real Aghanim 2 really hurting, but taking it down. Meanwhile, Scopula is going right. So I'm going to take a few extra checks to find that big key.
Yeah, this is about a minute. I would say a minute slower. Just the routing is a minute slower. Not that he's slow doing this or anything. Than it would be to have gone Pokemon. Hey, there's our boots.
Yep. Okay. One of the differences between these races and, of course, like the ladder is the big 20 replaces the boots. So yeah, really gross spot for the boots this seed. Thanks, game. Good thing we started with them. And nice positioning there for Ganon. Get in the corner.
Yeah,
Ahab.
stay in the
Using
corner.
cape strats. Yeah,
I
can get behind cape strats. Cape, half magic. I think he has at least a blue potion or a green or a red. He's fine.
Yeah, he's fine. No silvers, but you know.
Yeah, no silvers. So, all right, here we go. We're just 3 slashes away from. Oh, but Scopula, first chest in Stallforce room, grabbing that big key. So hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Also, oh no, the torch. So check 8 for Scopula. Almost was 7 and 7 with different routes.
Yeah, that's funny. Light World, huh?
Graveyard Ledge?
Did we know? Oh, it could be any of the mirror checks, couldn't it?
That's Graveyard Ledge, Cave 45, Checkerboard. Trying to think what else we had.
Bombos.
Yeah.
I think Bombos is Death Mountain, actually. That's not. Yeah, I think you're right. It's one of those 3. Has to be. We even did the shovel and the flute and the powder. Not the flute. The mushroom and the powder were both required this seed, right? Green pendant. That's a good one from J-Jo. That's
Yep.
Yeah. See, it was a nice palace, right? Come on.
We're gonna tell these runners to go check after this, because I'm sure they're not sick of this seed already.
So what happens if you do pod early in the seed and then you open bow mode?
Oh gosh.
Because you don't need the bow to beat the game, technically.
As long as you're good on your mimic clips going up the tower, yeah. Yuck. Yeah, early pod players. I'd say they're doing mirror checks, probably a full clear of swamp. So, oof.
Yeah, right. Yeah, if you go to swamp early, pod early. Oh, that's weird. That's a weird one. Because then you have the mirror. And there's so many time checks you could waste. But it doesn't matter now. Ahab getting his 12th spin in, defeating Ganon. All he has to do is walk across the bridge. So get your GGs ready.
Absolutely. GG's in chat for Ahab for quad, who does finish with an official race time of 1:36.47. And hey, look at that. Almost on cue. We are joined in the booth by Ahab. GG's, sir.
Yo, thanks. Appreciate it, man. How you doing?
Yeah, GG's. How about that bow?
That bow was pretty nasty. I avoided pod and Eastern exactly for that reason. I
Yeah, sounds about right. And yeah, I don't know. I don't see anything in the race room, but it was very interesting. So you both cleared T Rock at about the same time, and then you were both going for the big bomb, but Scupula didn't have enough money for the big bomb, so did Eastern before Pod, and that just opened up the gap. Um, and then obviously you found the mirror in Pod, which was both of your go modes.
Yeah, it was. I didn't know it was going to be mirror the way I was reading the seed, which was I'm sure you saw my gas, like when I went up the mountain to get the 300 in Spec Rock, right? I
Oh
had
yeah,
all
what were
I
you gonna
had
go to Zora there or?
I had all intentions of going to Ice Palace, and I was like, nah, those mitts were hella early. I'm like, oh man, I almost went and I almost did Zora, but no, I hit my head and was like, no, I'm not going to do that.
Uh,
Yeah, we were definitely speculating in chat and on comms here of where that mirror could be. A lot of us were, I won't say pulling for Green Pendant or Ice
Ooh.
Palace, but it was definitely a piece of conversation as, ooh, yeah, Scupula taking a fall to Moldorm there. But I'll say this, Ahab. What, so in your very early game routing, after you did Kakariko, you did the dam check, and then you went right over to Desert. What pulled you that way versus Mini Moldorm Cave?
Uh, it, okay, so this is kind of observation. A lot of people abandon a Sphere 1 check very early. I make it a point to check it. So I have boots. I'm gonna check the ledge. I saw hookshot was there, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna need, book or, mirror bits and, flute to get that. Uh, so once I saw that, I was like, I'm not going on the mountain. No, no way in hell. So, you know, no, it's just something that I like to do. I like to clear out Sphere 1. I know I didn't do that, not checking Eastern and all that, but just habit.
No, right
yeah.
on.
What about Zora? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I know. You saw me hovering at like 300 the whole game.
Yeah, wasn't it? Money got like blew up later. You could see Scupula just finishing up Agate 2 here has about 1,000 rupees. I think he found like half of those in Eastern when he couldn't get into Pod, and then had enough to do the bomb, get into Pod, get all the things, and still has 1,000 left.
Yeah, definitely had like 70 when he was trying to buy the big bomb the first time. Came out of Eastern, obviously did Pod. Now he's got 1,000. Ahab, the other really important thing this seed was you found that mushroom in Desert and instantly turned it in. Again, is that a conscious thing, like you're saying about clear out Sphere Zero of I found a possible progressive item, let's go, or what was your reasoning behind grabbing that mushroom right away?
Um, it's a one-off check. It's pretty quick. It's just a save it quick and a flipper over. You know, it, uh, I don't know. I uh, I have it as Sphere 4. So I don't know. I was just trying to see if there was something on it. I had the money. I probably would have gone to Zora again, but I didn't. Uh, Missed opportunity. But no, just something I do consciously. I've been burned too many times, on that mushroom. You know, just have it again.
Yeah, fair enough. And obviously, it paid off this seed with that flute. So no, it was definitely just one of those interesting things. Scupula waited to turn in that mushroom a little bit longer than you did. Having that flute there was really handy for your routing capabilities. The other big difference was actually in Scupula's favor. He did Skull Woods a lot earlier than you, so had that tempered sword. before you got into Skullwoods, was any part of you thinking this might be a Master Sword Ganon, or were you banking on finding more sword?
I was fully banking on Master Sword Ganon, to be honest with you. I didn't really care about finding another sword, and it was just luck that I found it. Honestly.
Yeah, speaking of Ganon, Scupula, about to finish up his fight, has nailed every single triple here. Very, very nice fight. Very clean.
I missed three. I missed three, man.
Yeah. Yeah, get your
And
GGs in chat for Scupula here.
Yeah, sword raised, well done to Scupula. Finishing, let me pull up that official time. Looks like a 1:42:41, so 6-minute difference. GG Scupula, we are now joined in the booth. Welcome, sir.
Yeah, it looks like your
Oops,
microphone's lighting up. But
there
you are.
There we go. Another one of my favorite comms, to be honest. Scupula, GG, sir.
Hey, thanks. Yeah, let's make a deal. Door 1, Eastern. Door 2, Pod. Door 3, Ice.
Yeah, pretty much, right? Because
Yeah.
nobody between both runners had touched any pendant dungeons the entire seed, and we're within about a minute of making that choice.
Yep, and we were talking about it just before you got in here, Scoop. Really, the big difference maker is, like Homemade Beer was saying, within about a minute of each other going into Big Bomb, but money management this seed kind of the enemy of the seed for you with the with the arrow game and then trying to buy that Big Bomb.
Yeah, sometimes I like to think about that stuff. I'll write it down and I'll look and see, did it matter? Do you want to do it? No. Do we know how not to do it? Yeah, but you never have to manage the money, right? Like, I don't think I've ever got turned away at the bomb shop. So, I don't think it was 6 minutes. It was. I got told they had a 20 difference in collection rate. So.
Oh yeah. I think it was a couple small things. Your opponent didn't do Eastern. What was another one? Oh, you did Hope Room to Compass Room in GT, and I think he did Hope Room to left side. So there's like another minute there. That's probably about, between those two things, about 4 minutes almost, just on those two things alone.
Yeah, there were also some stuff that, like Spike Cave, I did because I forgot I had the mirror. So I'm like, well, let's make some mildly tasty lemonade out of that, and it was 1 rupee. So.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you walked up the mountain instead of going around. I remember.
Yeah, so I was going to come and be like, yeah, that's what I meant to do. It would have been a play for sure. Yeah. It was a penny, so I was like, no, I'm not even going to try.
I think Ahab did sort of something similar after TR did Spec Rock with the intentions of going to Zora, it sounds like, right?
Yeah. I was going to pair an Ice Palace with Zora, but I went against that.
Yeah, you both went for Mirrorless Smith, which the way you both routed actually kind of worked out somewhat reasonably. Honestly, it was protect yourself against finding the mirror there and hard last locationing that check, right?
Basically, but you know what, I don't even remember now if there was anything in that whole sequence. Probably not.
Well, Quake was, but it wasn't needed.
Yeah, well, yeah, at the time that was the density. So I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, that's definitely something we called out in the booth. Scupula, you were very thorough with your checks, but you also did a very great job of making sure they were dense locations everywhere you went. Obviously, until late game when you're left with garbage. But no, that was definitely something fun to watch in your routing. Was just making sure you were hitting those dense locations.
Well, yeah, and I'll tell you what with that. I mean, I race enough ladders, so I know how to race one-on-one. I just didn't, and I blame qualifiers for SGL for that.
Oh, yeah.
It's just, I did the one today. I was going to skip that one and do yesterday, and that didn't work. But mindset. Oops.
Yeah.
Like hair basement,
Yep, you did both do Hera Basement, so ultimately no time lost there. You did both do Spike Cave. We were saying you did a lot of similar checks, just in different orders. It was definitely a fun race to watch.
Well, that's good. As soon as you pause, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, opponent did it too, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, I think realistically, you did actually do all the same checks except for Eastern and GT Compass Room. I'm trying to think about it. Like,
yeah,
I don't think there was literally that.
You went to Scopula. You went to Zora with the money at first, and Ahab didn't. So you did have that extra heart, or the mail and whatever Zora spat out.
That's true. I think it was a heart.
Yeah, and I debated picking up the mail, but when I did need a death warp, we had, whatever you call them, the one heart, no matter what things.
Yeah, taking those tiles was a really, really smart move on your part.
But somehow it just felt like mirrored go even at Zora. That's kind of what I was headed toward with that one.
Yeah, and it's one of those kind of like monkey paw seeds, right? Where it's like, oh man, it'd be great to have a red mail. And you have like 3 hearts. Like, oh, here's a red mail. Guess what? You're never going to get a mirror, and you're going to get a ton of health. So have fun death warping.
Yeah, so was the mirror, and this is something I'll never figure out, I swear, but was the mirror technically locked behind the bow?
It was, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, because I don't know the last time I've had a pendant Eastern pod either, so that once I realized that, well.
Yeah, right. Yeah, with the 2 small keys on the bow lock side, any item in that chest is going to be bow locked.
That hellway, yeah, okay.
So yeah, that seemed like a pretty fast seed in terms of the opening part of the game. Like, you guys, like, what was your favorite part of the seed? Anything interesting about it or less fun?
Pokemon Powder was pretty nice.
The 520 out of Escape, that's a new one for me, because I'm usually, like, you see every race I ever played being thorough as heck, but
nice.
That was with, the map. I always put the map check in there too, because, who cares about escape time, right? Only me.
Yeah, I mean, if you do it before or after the end of the day, it doesn't matter as long as you're consistent, right?
Yeah, well, I was going to mark it down. I was like, well, you know what? I don't remember if Eastern and Peasant and Desert I had right in my head, so I almost checked it again. Like, well, we can't do that. Run restream, come on. Like, that was in the first 10 minutes. Plenty of time after that for dum-dum.
So I want to ask just real quick, both you guys about, well, first of all, like how League's going, and then mainly like, we're getting into Pilot Spoiler next week. Like, are you guys looking forward to that week? Who are you playing against? And, a couple questions like that.
Not sure their name, but they're pretty Scandinavian, I do believe. So we're having a good time with scheduling. But
oh yeah,
as we're all
Spec Rock bonkers, it looks like.
Yeah, we're all in A, so it's gonna be like week 1, trying to get 4 people together, and then spoiler, I haven't done before. There's a reason like I don't play mystery, because half the time you're gonna get low crystal counts, and it just gets really frustrating when you die. A lot.
Yeah, for sure. A little bit of tilt.
So low percent, sometimes is okay, but I don't want to have to do it.
Yeah.
But maybe we can just route in all the heart containers and mail and be done. I don't know.
Yeah, have fun with it, right? What about you, Ahab? How's your team looking for next week? You're looking forward to it?
Yeah, we're playing a German team, so 7-hour difference again. So hopefully we get to play at like 5 in the morning because we're all our whole team's early risers.
Oh, okay.
So we get up and play with each other at like 5, 6 in the morning. So I'm hoping that happens, but we'll see. We're playing Team Triple T. No, spoilers fun. I like it. I don't run myself, but I pilot. So
Oh, okay, cool.
I love the chaos of it and thinking on your feet. It's fun.
So you're gonna make sure that you skip like a safety for your runner just because it's kind of funny sometimes.
Yeah, 3 hard green mail butters organic. Mm-hmm.
And then your runner gets to look at the log afterwards and like, wait, you skipped like 3 hearts, and you're like, it was faster not to get them. So you were fine. You didn't die, right? It's okay.
You didn't need it. Hey, I never said good game to Scoop. I appreciate the match. Good game, man.
Well, you did in race time. I didn't hear either, but yeah, for sure, GG.
Yeah.
I just... I don't know. It's just sometimes it'd be nice to have go mode on the route. It used to happen.
Yeah, definitely. GG's to both of you, and Tiberius, thanks a lot for calming this race with me. That was fun.
Absolutely happy to do it. Thanks for posting it in chat again. Give these runners a follow. Both Ahab and sk00pula put on a heck of a show today. I know I enjoyed watching it. I enjoyed calming it with you, Beer. So again, give these runners a follow. Follow them the rest of the league season. Like they said, they're going up against some new opponents next week in Pilot Spoiler. So yeah, sk00pula, Ahab, Homemade Beer. Any last thoughts on the seed before we cut everyone loose?
Garbage can is getting full. I better take it out. But no. In the open league, I know we have limited restream spots. Now I can talk. It's whatever o'clock. That being said, thank you very much to Yonkers Way for picking us up here today, and to Nochibato for tracking, and Tiberius and Homemade Beer for calming. It's nice when we get a bunch of people together, because I feel like there's... for sure a lot of people do, but I feel like there's always better runners than I to put on stream, but I definitely appreciate it, and I'm glad it was enjoyable.
Oh yeah, you put on a great race, both of you guys. That was really fun. And GG's again.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's my first time being restreamed ever, so
wow,
I was
nice.
Nervous as hell, man. You should have seen how sweaty my palms were.
Were you shaking at the end?
Yeah. I made sure I took a piss 3 times before the match too.
We had that last minute change to main too, because 2 doesn't have the followers, so you might see a dozen or 2, and right before we started, they 200. Well, I didn't need to see that.
Absolutely.
But I appreciate everyone. Yonkers Wife, Homemade Beer, Nochi, Ty. Appreciate everyone, man. And good game again to Scoop.
Absolutely happy to do it. So coming up, make sure to check the schedule on the Speed Gaming website. There's still plenty of casual boots action coming up this weekend. Like we were saying already, starting Monday, we're going to see some Pilot Key Sanity spoiler log fun. So again, big thank you to sk00pula, big thank you to Ahab for being on the restream. Like we've said before, big thank you to the restreamers, to the tracker, Yonkers Wife and Chibato. I've been Tiberius on comms here with Homemade Beer. Beer, you want to take us out?
No, yeah, sure. Just thanks again for everyone watching, and thanks to the runners. Everything you just said. Yeah, I think that's it for tonight. I don't think there's any more matches. We do have a few more tomorrow to wrap up Casual Boots Week. So go ahead and check out the schedule, post it in chat, and hope you can join us for any of the games that we get to watch.